The three questions that you have to ask yourself about being realistic if you're trying to preserve a long-term disability claim while asking your employer for reasonable accommodations. Sort of like whiplash, don't you think? So I've talked about the definition of disability and the definition of the material and substantial duties that you may find in a policy. So now that you've written that information down, what are the three questions? First is, do you think your employer is really going to approve your request for accommodation, or do you think they're going to suggest alternative accommodations? Be honest and be realistic about your answer. Don't be, hopeful. Now, if you think the employer is going to deny your request, then don't ask for accommodations and pursue your ERISA disability claim. Now, on the other hand, if you think your employer is going to approve of those accommodations, the second question is, how long do you realistically think that accommodation is going to last? If you think that the accommodation is going to be for show, or that the supervisor will quickly tire of the accommodation, or that the supervisor may actually change to somebody who's not so friendly, then don't request the accommodation and pursue that long-term disability claim. Thirdly, and I think the most important question is, how long, realistically, honestly, do you think you could work in that accommodated position? What you wish for and what you most likely is going to happen are probably going to be different. If you don't think you could work in the accommodated position for more than a year, then don't request the accommodation. So what's the consequences of asking for a reasonable accommodation? In my opinion, pursuing an ADA accommodation request and a long-term disability claim isn't a smart move. I think it limits your options. Now, I know that you hope that the employer is going to accommodate you, that you can withdraw that long-term disability claim and work and live happily ever after in the accommodated position. If your employer accepts that accommodation, I will tell you that the disability carrier or plan is going to say, you aren't disabled because your position was accommodated. And based on the definition of disability, we're going to deny that claim. If your employer refuses the request, the refusal is not binding on the disability carrier or the plan. The carrier or plan will say, hey, we're going to make our own independent decision. And we think, based on the cosmos of the world, that your occupation could be accommodated, and we don't give a what your employer may or done or not done. So worse yet, your employer may actually end up terminating you, and you lose your right potentially to severance pay or other benefits. And the disability carrier says, too bad, so sad, your position could have been reasonably accommodated. We're going to deny your claim. You can see that this all has consequences, and you should be thinking this through before you stop work, before you attempt to return to work, before you think about asking for accommodations. Call me today at 727-894-3188 before you do something that destroys both of your claims. 727-894-3188. Got it? Look forward to helping you.